Ego Jinpachi is a very smart man, as he is the person behind the Blue Lock facility. He has beaten the U20 team with his team of only strikers, and even created something called the Neo-Egoist League. If you frequently visit this channel, consider subscribing. In chapter 204, Isagi had a conversation with Noah. After Isagi ranted a bit, Noah realized the reason that he chose him. If we backtrack to the middle of the conversation, Isagi said that he would defeat Kaiser with goals, which is exactly what happened. He could see it as he learned how to use his eyes and brain in a new way in the previous match, which was metavision. So after that, he explained how metavision works, how people have their own protagonism, and how you can crush it. Isagi noticed that he definitely outplayed Kaiser, so the next time he'll train the skills that he's missing. This basically means that Isagi is evolving at a rapid rate, and Noah took note of that. Noah told Isagi that he's heard the way he thinks and theorizes football before from a moron of a teammate he had over 10 years ago, which was Ego Jinpachi. Through this, we get to know that Ego Jinpachi was at the pinnacle of football, battling it out with Noah. He was Noah's former teammate and first ever rival, the worst kind of football fanatic who is also behind Blue Lock. Noah is the world's best now, while Ego is obsessed with creating the world's best. Now the question would be, when did he choose Isagi? Let's go to chapter 205, where Ego had a conversation with Yukimiya Kenyu. Ego Jinpachi told him that he has optic neuropathy, and wondered how long he was planning to keep that hidden from him. Yukimiya apologized for not telling it to Jinpachi sooner, and here comes the interesting part, which is that Jinpachi already knows it. He knew it after running a background check on him when he entered Blue Lock. The only reason they didn't have a conversation about it is because he felt there was no need to bring up the subject. This means that he ran a background check on all 300 players before they stepped foot inside the Blue Lock facility. So could it be possible that he knew Isagi would succeed from the start, which would push Jinpachi to put Isagi in the optimal circumstances for growth? Let's go over the first reason I think that Ego Jinpachi set everything up for Isagi to succeed. In chapter 1, when Isagi ran up to the goalkeeper with the Ichinan team, Isagi passed the ball to his teammate because he was convinced of the all-for-one mentality, since that was all he knew. This belief system was ingrained in the Japanese youth to be the truth, and his teammate proceeded to miss the shot hitting the ball on the post, which led to Kira's goal that put them out of the fight for nationals. Now, coincidentally, later that chapter, Ego Jinpachi brought up that exact same scenario Isagi went through out of all people.
Coincidence? I think not.
He told them to imagine that they were at the finals of the World Cup, playing under the eyes of 80,000 spectators in the stadium. You are already on the field and the score is 0. It's the stoppage time of the second half as they get to the last play. A teammate had managed to pass the ball to him as he was one-on-one with the goalkeeper now. There's a teammate 6 meters to their right. If they pass it to him, they'd probably score a goal. With all the hopes of Japan on your shoulders, you are at a turning point at the World Cup finals. And you shoot without hesitation. If you desire that rebellious egoism, then step through the gate. This was literally a carbon copy of what Isagi went through. So I truly don't think that it's a coincidence that Isagi took the initiative first of all 300 people. He recently got crushed and started to change. In chapter 2, when they just arrived at the Blue Lock facility, Henri handed him the number 299, which was just one position from the last, which went to Igaguri. Now, why has Ego Jinpachi done this, and why specifically Isagi? In chapter 39, after Team Z had cleared the first selection, Isagi noticed that there was something wrong with the jersey numbers as they looked awfully similar to theirs. So Ego Jinpachi explained that there was not a single person here who came from the first, second, third, or fourth stratum. None of that ever existed anyway, as only the fifth stratum existed in Blue Lock. All of them thought they were in the worst teams, which made them fight like idiots in the first selection. The reason he did this was for the sake of killing any shitty shred of confidence those softies might have had. He devised this trick to nurture a hungry mindset in each of them so that they might become the best striker in the world. If we look at Noah, for example, even the man who is known today as the best striker in the world was raised in the slums of France. Growing up poor and surrounded by crime and violence meant that he had to change his fate. The only option he had was football. There are many strikers in similar conditions, and their hunger for goals are incomparable. If they were to stick with this country's mindset where they'd be fine, even if they were to lose in football, they'd never be able to reach his level. Hunger for a goal in order to become the best striker in the world. Blue Lock was created in order to obtain that. All of them came here wanting to bring down everyone above them. They all came here while believing that they could win. That hunger will become the ego that changes the world. Through this, I can understand that it was meant for everyone, and that there had to be at least 4 more people who had the number 299, so one could argue that it wasn't necessarily aimed at Isagi. The thing that convinced me was Jinpachi's speech in chapter 2. After Team Z finished the game of tag, Kira thought it was pointless as he reckoned that this wasn't football. But Jinpachi told him that everything they do is related to football. If they paid close attention, they would have noticed that the area is 16, 5 by 40, 32 meters, which is the exact same proportions as a penalty area. About 75% of all the goals are scored from this little area, as you could say that it's the domain of a striker. In other words, in this small space, the positioning skills of a striker mean everything. Therefore, those unable to survive under such conditions can hardly be qualified to be talented strikers. Kira still didn't understand what Jinpachi was saying, so he told him that the skill required by the fleeing side was positioning. As for the pursuer, what they need is not only accurate dribbling, but also the precision to make shots that will hit their target. That's what makes makes it optimal football training. Kira still didn't understand as he just got 2 minutes. So Jinpachi told him that the average time a player possesses the ball during a match is about 136 seconds, so he was given the exact same opportunity as in a real match. So Kira whined about what he'd expect him to do in just 10 seconds. Ego wondered if he would do the same thing in a match. When the clock ran out, he still had about 1 second left. There was plenty of time to survive if he were to shoot at an injured Igaguri, and yet he wasted that chance. If he were in the middle of a match standing in the penalty area, and it was the very last play of the game. If his teammate's shot didn't reach the goal and hit his body instead, when this happens, he'd already given up inside, which is why he didn't notice that the ball had fallen right before him through sheer luck. If only he had tapped the ball with his knee, he could have been saved from his own mistake. The one who is it in tag, the one who has the ball decides who they want to win, but also gets to decide who they want to lose. A striker carries all of the responsibility on his back. A striker is one who keeps on attacking until the very last second. Instead of aiming for the injured Igaguri, Isagi chose to defeat those higher ranked than him. And Meguru Bachira, with the initiative to aim for the strongest player, are perfect examples of people who, rather than do what was best for the team, had the tenacity and courage to pursue their own will. This is exactly the egoism that he's looking for, and that's why Kira Ryosuke lost. Now you might say, this is just another Jinpachi speech directed to improve everyone, right? But here it really felt like it was tailored to show and teach Isagi what he should have done, and how he should have been back when he was playing with Ichinan. The turning point for Isagi was when he decided to go after the strongest player, as he had successfully eliminated Kira. The thing he lacked in the penalty area was both awareness and egocentrism, which had become clear to him from that point onwards. From the moment Isagi arrived at the Blue Lock facility, Ego Jinpachi had the intention to teach him how to become a world-class striker from scratch. Jinpachi himself gave signs of interest to Isagi after that moment. The one that's worth mentioning is in Chapter 13. In Team Z, their match against Team Y Bachira was dribbling up the field as he passed the ball toward Isagi. Isagi was there for the ball as he hammered the ball at the left side of the goal. Isagi moved through all the defeated faces as it hit him that he had crushed them. All of Team Y's dreams were crushed for the sake of his own goal. He wondered if this is what winning is like. Nico was bursting out in tears with feelings of despair written all over his face. Isagi was indulging hard in this sensation, as Ego Jinpachi seemed to be very excited as he was looking at the monitors.